internet. I'm Insane Lane, as well as a Canadian girl, and we have a video with possibly the longest title I've ever seen today. We have Most Angriest No BS Cop meets an entitled Karen who plays stupid games and ends brutally. I only watched the first 90 seconds of this. It starts spicy and it goes from there. I have no idea what happens or why my background is flickering. Again, it's been steady all day. Okay, we're going to ignore that. Okay, brace for impact and headphone warning, because this just goes right off from the beginning.
On the 10th of August, 2024, an officer observed a vehicle driving recklessly on the road, exceeding the speed limit. This behavior immediately caught the officer's attention, prompting an attempt to pull the car over. As the officer approached the vehicle, they requested the female driver exit and step onto the road.
Okay, so she's being pulled over for speeding. Whoa.
Turn it off. Hand me the keys. Do you not hear? When I'm behind you, turn off the car and hand me the keys.
Okay, wow, officer, you need to take a breath here. I don't actually know if they can demand the keys. I know they can demand license, reg, insurance, and that you get out of the car. Those are all valid. I have no idea if he's actually allowed to demand that she hands over the keys. Let me see. Once we find out what state this is, I will look and see if that is so. I'm making a note. Can ask for keys on stop. Okay, so once we know what state this is in, I'm going to look that up because I really would like to know if they actually can do that. But clearly this cop is angry, so that I'm saying the first part of the title seems to be true. Because, yeah, he's coming up hot, he's yelling, he's demanding the keys, and, you know, she's being pulled over for speeding. I'm not seeing what's the urgency here, kind of. Maybe he's just having a bad day. I mean, hopefully he calms down or somebody calms him down. Because I think he's alone. Otherwise, I'd be saying, another officer needs to step in if he doesn't calm down in a moment. Because I also know that one of the tactics is sometimes officers will start out loud and shouting to kind of establish control, establish dominance, basically, because they claim that it, makes people more compliant or cuts down on arguments or whatever. If you, show that you're the alpha dog. Personally, I think it does the opposite more times than not, and more so these days with changing cultural attitudes as well as changing generational attitudes towards authority in general. But that's a discussion for another time.
Give me the fob. I'm over there trying to stop you back by saying, no, you're not. You're not. No, you know where to stop.
Okay, I don't.
You pull over to the right and you stop.
I don't like
Step out of
this.
the car.
He's way too angry.
Get back here.
Okay, I even where my face is not blocking, I couldn't see what she tried to hand him, but he did ask her for the key fob, so I assume that's what she's trying to hand over. This guy is yelling way too much. He's being way too aggressive. If I were her, I'd be very concerned for my safety. And he's contradicting himself because he's too angry. He's saying, give me this, then don't give me this. And, officer, you pulled her over for speeding. And, and he's saying, you're not sorry. What are you helping by saying that? Why are you even saying that? She's trying to say sorry, and he's just mad that she didn't, he said, he wanted her to pull over instantaneously when he turns his lights on, which is what a lot of cops expect, but that's not always practical or possible. Now, we don't know how long he was behind her. We don't know if it was 10 seconds or 10 minutes. No idea. But he's still way too heated.
The officer's initial interaction.
Okay, so another cop has arrived.
The reasons behind her reckless driving. However, as soon as the female exited the vehicle, she began exhibiting peculiar behavior, acting
Let's
in a
see
manner
if we
that
agree
resembled
with
a child's
that.
demeanor.
Now, one of the reasons why I'm
I
stopping
don't always
you
agree with
is
narrators,
because
so
there's so many warrants on this car. Whoever owns it,
on the
Mr.
car.
Williams. Yeah. So that's why you hear that. That's more people coming.
Oh, no.
Get your hands out of your pockets.
Okay,
Now, why
fair.
didn't you stop? And I want the truth.
Because I was nervous. I don't get pulled over. I didn't know, like.
How old are you?
35.
You're 30 years old, and that's what you're going to act like a 2-year-old?
I'm not.
Okay, whoa. Somebody needs to replace this guy in this interaction. This is too much. He said there's warrants on the car that trace back to, and he said a Mr. Williams. So it's somebody else. It's not her. So I'm sorry, you can't say you think there was a dangerous felon or something in the car when you know you saw clearly it was being driven by a woman, but I guess there's probably a guy, maybe a boyfriend, maybe husband, that owns the car that has warrants at the moment. Or, and I'm just throwing this out there for the sake of fairness, because I'm saying the officer didn't ask this question. You don't know that she didn't buy this car yesterday. She could have bought this car yesterday, so whoever owned it the day before is the guy with all the warrants, and she has no clue. I'm not saying that's the case, or I think that's the case. I'm saying you have to cover your bases. And so far, all this cop is doing is yelling and berating this woman, and he's not even giving her a chance to speak. And for them, now he's pulling the how old are you thing. You're not her father, dude. Like, he really needs to stop.
Not acting like a.
Yes, you are. What are you supposed to do when you drive in the state of Ohio? Tell
Oh,
me.
we're in Ohio. Okay. Okay, pause while I look this up. Okay, after doing some quick research, what I was able to specifically find for Ohio, the only law I can find directly relating says that if a car is unlocked and unattended on the highway or on a roadway, then the police can remove the keys as long as they leave the information about where to pick up the keys if you're the owner of the car. I didn't find anything that specifically said they can take your keys during a traffic stop. However, looking a little more generally, it does seem like in a lot of states, or in most states, since you're pulled over at a traffic stop, that is considered to be some form of detained, and that the cops can then temporarily seize the keys to the car for safety reasons, to either prevent people from fleeing or from running over the officers with the car, as we've seen it happens. So that it does look like in several states they either, I don't know if it's like considered an absolute right, but it seems like it is the practice, or that it's allowed. So yes, legal for them to take the keys. I couldn't find the definitive law for Ohio that states it, but it seems to be like more generally true, or a general practice. If you know the exact law that covers this, please let me know.
What are you supposed to do when you drive in the state of Ohio? Tell me. When you see lights or you hear sirens, what are you supposed to do? Okay, so don't tell me you didn't know. Okay?
I did, but I was just nervous.
Well,
She's not saying she didn't know she shouldn't pull over.
I'm that you're not stopping for me, and I got my lights and sirens on, and I'm in a pursuit.
I'm sorry, sir.
Yeah. Let's go back here. You can ask these gentlemen how long you were not stopping for me.
I would like to
Over
know.
here. Who else is in the car?
No.
Nobody?
No.
Do you have anything on you? Get your hands out of your pockets.
Just the phone.
Do you have a driver's license?
It's in my car, I believe.
Stay over here. I didn't ask you where it is. I asked you if you had one. Is it?
Okay, now you're just literally being a dick. And since she still has the key fob in her hand, I'm going to say that yes, that's what she was trying to hand him when she got out of the car, because he told her to. And then he said, "Don't hand me anything." Now he's pulling the same shit of, "Where's your license?" And she's saying, "I think it's in the car." And he's like, "Well, I didn't ask you where it was." Somebody pull this guy's leash, please.
Is it valid?
Yes.
The reason why I was pulling you over is, even though you were using your turn signals the whole time, okay, because I couldn't see who was driving. When you made a left-hand turn from Trunco, you went immediately in the right lane. You can't do that. It's called turning at intersections. You have to stay in the left lane, signal over to the right lane, and then when you got on Gent Road, you were fine. Okay?
Okay,
Surprised
so
by her erratic behavior
she made
despite her
one
mature age,
infraction.
the officer couldn't help but wonder what was causing the disconnect between her words and actions.
I'm not
The
seeing a
interaction
disconnect
grew
here.
increasingly challenging.
This
as the
narrator's
female
annoying the
refused
crap
to
out of
answer
me.
the officer's questions. Her responses were inconsistent.
Okay,
as she
can you let me
repeatedly
hear that?
provided conflicting
Because
stories
so
about her
far,
actions
I'm not
and
hearing
identity.
any of that. This narrator's
Her
making this
unwillingness
up.
to provide even basic information left the
Okay,
officer with
dude,
no
stop
choice but to
telling a
take her into
story
custody
here.
to ensure public safety and proceed with the investigation.
Like,
Anything on
I'm
you,
sorry,
open
but
your
everything this narrator just said, I do not see any of it. This is completely made up. Like, that's literally the definition of making up the narrative. Because I didn't hear her actually refusing to answer anything or contradicting anything because she's hardly had a chance to speak at all. So if that's like forecasting and we're about to see that, then say that some way in your narration instead of saying we've already seen it, because I didn't see any of that. And if he's about to take her into custody for safety, I'm going to need some flippin' justification for that, because so far the only one I'm afraid of doing something violent here is the cop.
do you have a shirt on?
Yes.
Okay. Nothing?
No.
Where do you work?
Bird Technologies. I didn't know.
Okay, I don't know.
Didn't know.
Well, who's Mr. Williams to you? Over here.
A friend of a friend. Like, I just,
So, why do you have it?
because my car got stolen and I needed a ride.
Okay. You ever had your license suspended?
No.
Okay, I'm not sure why he's putting her in the back of the car or why she's voluntarily getting in when I haven't heard him say that she's being detained for an actual reason.
You know why I was scared. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to pull over. Well, what does the law say? Oh, pull over. Oh, okay. That's pretty simple.
I'm sorry, what?
She has her ID in the car.
Okay, is it this guy's first day or something? What is going on here? What is going on? He just said I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to pull her over. What? What? Seriously, what? I'm so very confused. And why is he putting her in the back of the car? I mean, you could say if she's getting in willingly, maybe she knows there's something more going on here. Maybe we're about to find that out and I'm about to look silly. But so far up to this point, what is this guy's problem?
I don't see.
Okay, so there's no one else.
I don't know. She said that she has it. Yeah, it might be.
You didn't exactly ask
She
her.
said that it's in the car, so I'll give her a book bag and.
Yeah. But you didn't let her say where in the car because you cut her off. So maybe if you had said where exactly is your license, she might have told you.
All right, I'll just run you and find out who you are. It comes back to that Lincoln, but the guy that owns it, she said it's a friend of a friend. Her car got stolen, so she's driving this one. And this guy,
and you have
that
no
owns this car
reason
has, like,
to know that that's not true. And that's why this guy's freaking out.
So
that's why this officer is freaking out right now. I'm sorry, but that's why he's acting the way he is. He got freaked out because when he ran the plates, like, a huge amount of warrants came up. So the person who owns the car, or at least who it's registered to, could be a very seriously bad person. For all we know, some of those warrants could be, like assaults or involving a gun or assaulting an officer. Things that are going to get a cop's, like, antenna cranked up. I get that. But officer, even if you didn't see who was driving, once they pulled over and you see it's a little scrawny girl, tone it down. It's not the guy with all the warrants who's potentially dangerous. Now, can you say that he should still have his guard up? Because if she's driving his car, then she's likely, as a lot of women that are with guys like that are, she may be involved in a lot of the same things. Potentially. Is that the reason to keep your guard up? Yes. Is it a reason to act like this? No. Hell no. And if you're that afraid, which is what he's pretty much saying, that he is afraid of this car because of all the warrants, wait for backup. They seem to get there like within like 30 seconds. So just wait for them. Let them handle it. Let them take lead if you're so scared. Like,
I'm just going to run her. And she said she didn't know what to do.
okay, so did you find her
Once
ID? Because you
inside,
kind of
she
need to
was
know her
driven away
name.
from the original location to a different place for more questioning.
Why?
At this new location, another officer joined the investigation to help gather more information.
Like,
Despite this added assistance,
I'm not even sure what they're
the woman's
investigating at
behavior
this
remained
point.
erratic and uncooperative. She gave confusing and inconsistent answers.
Again,
about
can
what
we
had happened
hear
before
this?
her
Because you're
reckless driving.
telling me, but you're not letting me see it.
I'm going to take you down to Summit County Jail. I'm going to charge you with failing to willful flee from an officer. Don't play games with me.
Okay, thank you for making that up on the spot. I'm not saying she's not guilty of that, but you clearly didn't have that answer when you started that sentence. So, again, I get they want to ID her. Maybe, again, this is very butchered, so we're missing pieces. If there is a part of this where she refused to give an ID, refused to give her name, why have you not left that in? Rather than like narrating and telling me that that's happening, but that's not what I am seeing at all. Now, from her demeanor, can you say that she probably knows she's guilty of something because she's not putting up a fuss about the way she's being treated? Quite possibly. But I still do not like the way this is being handled because this is out of line. And the fact that he's taking her away somewhere else alone when he's this angry, not okay. Very not okay. And he should be being stopped from doing this. I also want to know, what are they officially investigating? She got pulled over for speeding and like making an improper turn. So you're saying you're investigating that and that gives you the right to take her to a secondary location for questioning? This seems so excessive for what they're saying it is. So unless it turns out that this is like a whole other something else, and even still, at this point, we don't know that. Neither do the cops. So again, I'm not sure why they're coming so hard here. It's very weird.
Everybody knows their social security number. Strike one. I'm telling you right now,
Okay.
as my witness, I am going to drive you down to Summit County Jail.
Okay, so it sounds like she is refusing
No,
to
I'm not gonna
ID.
look your name up.
Why can't
You're
you look
gonna
up
tell
her
me what
name?
your social security number is.
I don't know it by heart, sir.
How old are you?
33.
You just said you were 30 before.
I said 34.
I thought she said 35.
I don't care how nervous you are. What's your last name?
Play. C-O.
Hang on, man. I'm gonna write this down because if
Okay, so yes, officer, you can run her name, okay? It's possible, like, I'm not saying she's not trying to hide her identity. It sounds like she might be. She's changing her age. I get that. But if she's willing to give you her first and last name, even if it's not real, then you can say, okay, we ran that name. It's not you. So now I know you're lying to me. Now I have proof of it. Now I can charge you with lying to an officer. So you want to tell me the truth? There's a way to go about it. I know running her social is probably easier, but if she's offering you some information, you should check it before refusing.
I find out you're lying to me,
I promise, sir.
because I'm gonna go take you down to Summit County Jail if I don't think you're who you are, and we're gonna fingerprint you.
Okay, I don't like the if I don't think you're who you are, because I'm sorry, that's your opinion. Prove
I don't
it
care if
or
you have
shove
warrants.
it.
I really don't.
I don't know.
So what is your date of birth? Where'd you do that ID you had?
I thought I.
No, you did not. You had it on
It's
you.
just on me, yeah.
So
Okay, the ID that you refused to take from her earlier?
Where did it go?
she probably ditched it.
I didn't. You can look, sir.
Good in there. I just saw it on you. She had an ID.
Right before I got home.
No, I saw you put it in the car.
I didn't put
Go
it
in here.
the car.
I saw you wearing it. I never took it off of you.
I didn't touch it. I don't have it, sir.
I know. It's hidden in her car. So we're gonna play this game all day with her.
What?
So she had an ID on her. It was a square ID. I watched her. It was an employee ID. I just didn't grab it at the time. She had it hanging off her
Okay, so
pocket.
why
It was
didn't you
hanging
grab
off.
it?
So, all right, here's it is. You're gonna get a felony next for tampering with evidence. So quit playing games with me. Stan, you know what? You're gonna get handcuffed now. Now you've irritated me.
When the officers tried to get her to explain herself, she didn't provide any clear or useful details about the incident. She also refused to give any personal
I
information.
haven't seen
which
them
made the
ask her
situation even
about
more difficult to
the
understand.
driving at all. Again, this narrator's driving me crazy. I don't think I'm going to watch much of this channel because they're literally just making it up. If you have a video of that happening, please just show it and don't tell me that's what's happening and then cut those parts out. Because again, so far I have not seen this. Now, I get the cop is saying like he's at the end of his rope, he's done with her, he's, she's playing games about her ID, which does seem to be true. But they're still not justifying why they're being so aggressive here. Like, there's something I'm missing. If it's been cut out, that's, not my fault. I can't see what isn't there. But we'll see, because there's so much more of this, and I can't imagine why.
She said her name's Paige Marcole.
Okay, so...
Who's Nicole?
My sister.
Yeah, of course.
It is.
I'm not playing this game with you.
Okay,
I
so...
don't understand why.
Sounds like she's got IDs that are not hers, and it
Yeah,
is
because
true
you're
that
getting
she's
treated
not...
like this because you're acting like a child. And
Okay,
you're hiding
stop
your
it
ID.
with
What
the
kind?
acting like a child,
Yeah,
okay?
Yes, sir.
Not appropriate.
And guess
Just
what?
knock
You're
it
going to Summit
off.
County Jail.
Why? Please.
No,
Do this.
I'm not playing games. No, I don't care. You're not going. What's your work
Okay,
number?
the answer to why
Where
she's
you
going to
work at?
jail, officer, is you're refusing to
Let's call up
ID.
your work and find out who you are. You want to play that? Because I'm not going
Like,
to go through this whole thing, this whole
you-
gamut of charging somebody and finding out you're lying about who you are. I'm not doing it. You know
Okay,
why?
that sounds like a you being incompetent if you've ever done that.
Because I'm not that stupid.
You certainly sound it right now. Because if you're saying that you have pressed charges against the wrong person because you failed to ID somebody that you had in custody, that's a you being really, really, really terrible at your job moment. And seriously, just run her fingerprints. If she has a record, which seems likely, you'll know who she is in about, 2 seconds. So, what is with this badgering over tell me your ID? If she doesn't want to ID, take her to jail like you said and ID her. What is the point of this right now?
Now, you want to tell me who you are, or you want to keep playing this game? You want to keep playing the game? You think I'm kidding you about taking you to Summit County Jail?
No.
All right. So, you want to tell me the truth? Okay.
Okay, so
The
who
bullshit
are
stops
you?
now. I'm sick of it.
Okay.
And you're getting charged for not stopping for a police officer.
Okay, that
So, you
seems
keep it up.
fair enough.
I got all day. I get paid by the hour. You are not smarter than me. Remember that.
I'm not trying to.
Who
Yeah, you are.
cares?
You are, because you're trying to outsmart me and it ain't working.
No,
Yeah,
I don't
well,
think she
whatever.
is. I think you're making a fool of yourself all on your own.
I lost my fiance 2 months ago and
You know what?
everything's falling apart.
You know what, though? Out of respect for him, then I would tell the truth. Have a seat in there. Crying ain't gonna help. I got news for you. This ain't my first day on the job.
You could have fooled me.
Now, since you already lied about who you are once, let's try it again.
When they brought her back out on the road for the next part of the investigation, the officers temporarily removed her handcuffs to allow
Oh, please
for
tell
more
me she
questioning.
doesn't run.
They hoped that by giving her a little more space, she might cooperate and explain her actions more clearly. But instead, she continued to be unhelpful. She wouldn't share any accurate details or take responsibility for what she had done, making it
Hey,
clear
guess
that
what?
she
Not
wasn't
for you to
willing
judge at the
cooperate
side of
in
the
a
road
meaningful
about her
way.
taking responsibility. That's something you do in front of a judge.
No.
What is your real name? Quit.
My fiance. He just
What is
passed.
your real name?
Okay, at this point, I'm thinking she has warrants because she's trying so hard not to give her
What's your
name.
ID?
So
That's my idea.
I suspect that she's wanted.
Get your feet in there.
Nicole, look at
Okay, so
What, is she
now they're
suspended or
calling
what?
her Nicole when
non-driver.
Yeah, we're hooking it. As long as she's a non-driver.
I don't know what an on driver is. Before they were saying Nicole was not her ID. I thought she said it was her sister. Now they're calling her that. I have no idea.
She had it hanging off of her. Yeah.
I was scared, like I didn't know what to do. I've been in this area before.
I don't know where you stuck it, but I'll find it. Where? Did you put it on you? Because when you go to the Summit County Jail, where was it? Yeah. She has it.
Okay, so she has her ID.
Like a little baby.
Okay, again,
Yeah,
stop
that.
it. Like, it's just not necessary.
Gloves, but I don't know
Yes,
where
you
it was.
should.
Yeah, this is the work ID she had on her. That's,
Okay, yeah, especially because you have pulled her out of the car at least twice and patted her down and went through her pockets and you didn't find it, so where do you think that was? I'm not gonna think too hard about it, but yeah, you should most definitely have gloves on, and not just for, like, health and safety and cleanliness reasons, actual, like, legal, you don't know if that's evidence or something reasons as well.
she hit.
Yeah, she's got 27 for dope.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so that's probably 27 is probably she has a warrant, so
You can cry all you want. It doesn't help me any. 'Cause I don't
Officer,
feel
you
sorry
are
for
not
one bit.
helping.
You can keep crying.
You
all
don't
you
need to
want.
make it worse.
Everything's being recorded.
Like, this is the
Everything
worst.
is recorded. So when we go to court,
This
I'm
is
gonna
straight
show
bullying.
just how you treated me.
I'm so sorry.
Okay, way to tell me you're a narcissistic, self-important ass clown. Like, officer, I'm sorry. Her crime today is not that she disrespected you. You are not that important. You are not the center of the universe, but you're certainly acting like it. And you're antagonizing somebody who is already under arrest, who's got enough to deal with, who's crying in the back of your car. You don't need to be piling on. Like, this is really gross. This is exactly what I never ever want to see, because this is just plain being a bully. It's mean, it's petty, and it's useless.
Hey, Tony, there's some fun in the car.
Okay, so there we go.
In the car.
There's drugs in the car, so that's probably why she didn't want to pull over. That makes perfect sense. So yeah, she probably did try to get away from him. Still doesn't justify his attitude.
All right, go ahead and step out. We're going to switch cars, and I'm going to switch your cuffs, okay? All right, go ahead and walk this way.
I'm never a
Go all the
fan
way
of
back around the
this,
car into the one
of
next to you.
moving people from car to car and switching handcuffs and all that. It's just
Are you going to stand here?
gives like too much opportunity for
Spread your feet
things
for
to
me.
go
What
wrong.
receipt is this?
It was in my pocket.
Seeing that she
Can also
didn't
be,
have
like,
any use
really
for her,
agitating.
The officers put her handcuffs back on and took her to the police station
When was
for
she
a more
out of
detailed
cuffs?
investigation. They needed to figure out exactly what had happened and why she had acted in such a way.
I'm still not seeing what the beginning, what happened is, other than she turned into the wrong lane and she was
Like this
speeding.
pocket?
So what? You now know there were drugs in the car, so that explains
Right,
why
spread
she
your feet
didn't
for
want to
me, face
pull
forward.
over, and she has a warrant. Same reason.
Now, you know, since you're going down to the county, if you have anything on you,
I don't know.
they're going to find it, even if it's inside. You're going to catch
Hey,
another
good
charge.
on them for making it clear. I never like seeing people search more than once
your feet
because I
spread.
always feel like it implies that the first officer didn't do a good job. However, I have heard many cops, like both current and retired, say that they just never let anybody get in their car without searching them themselves for their own
All right, go ahead and
peace
sit
of
down in the
mind.
car.
You know, or in some cases it may be policy to do so. But
Yeah,
she's being
you wanna get those
other
back?
than not giving her ID, she's been 100%
Oh, okay.
like
I'm going to
compliant with
there,
them.
search it.
She's not even like running her mouth. So
Hey, did you guys search her bag good, Tony?
He said they did.
You search her bag good?
I didn't search it.
Okay, I'm gonna search it really quick.
What do you want?
The investigation became more thorough at the police station. The officers carefully questioned her and gathered as
and
much
hopefully they
information
read
as
her
possible
rights
about the
before doing
reckless
so.
driving incident and her refusal to cooperate.
Okay, so that is their justification for all of this. I haven't heard anyone actually say she has a warrant. I heard somebody say 27 on drugs, but I don't. Maybe that was them saying they found drugs in the car and maybe there's not a warrant. I'm not sure. So they're justifying all this for reckless driving and her not stopping. Which again, fair, because they also found drugs in the car, which explains why she wasn't stopping. So, yeah, not saying she didn't need to be arrested or anything like that. Just saying that was extremely not the way to go about it. Okay, seriously, you can edit out actual relevant parts of the video, but you're going to leave this in of them literally just standing here waiting for somebody to come and process her. Thank you for personal information being blurred. Okay, how long do we stand here? Because let's move this along.
Throw something away.
Was carefully documented. This was crucial to her.
Okay.
Every
Looks like we're finally getting
of how
somewhere.
she'd been driving to her behavior during the investigation was carefully documented. This was crucial in understanding her actions and deciding what should happen next. Throughout the process, the woman's refusal to share information and odd behavior made it.
I'm not
harder
seeing
for
any
the
odd
officers to get to the
behavior
truth.
at all. The only thing they've said that I agree with is that she refused to ID herself. This is probably muted because she's talking about health information that's protected.
That's my fiance.
Looks like the property report.
Months ago.
Okay, so we got sound back.
It doesn't matter. Like, we were together for 6 years. Why does it matter if I have this mail? We live together. We live together.
Oh, so it sounds like she has someone else's mail, maybe? That could be a lot of things.
Are you doing that?
He does this all the time.
What?
He does this all the time. So I just call him and be like, can you pick this up?
Yeah. Sometimes I just try to
Right?
get in there.
All right. And you have your weapons on you?
All right, it's fine.
It
It wasn't.
We're trying to become a known property facility.
I get
We don't
that.
accept property.
I get that.
Right?
3265 West Market Street, 3265
Right.
West Market Street. Someone stole the caller's car keys. Vehicle still in the parking lot.
Okay, is the rest of this video just her being processed? Because we don't need to.
The investigation continued to unfold, and the officers hoped that, with time, they would be able to uncover all the details of the situation. The
What's to
investigation
find
aimed to
out? Like,
understand her-
I'm sorry, you're pretending this is like a murder investigation. It's ridiculous.
Whatever. I just came in and got told to take her down, so. I just.
Back that up. Let's see what's being said.
It's fine. It wasn't even my stop. So I wasn't thinking about it. Whatever. I just came in and got told to take her down, so.
Okay, so I think she was saying she didn't go through the bag. Because she just got told to come pick her up, which I never liked that. You know, I'm never a fan of when somebody gets arrested and like they say to another cop or a cop arrives and is told basically just you're the transport, just take this person to jail, and they're most often they're not even told why, which I feel like the two cops should have to communicate that to each other. Like the cop that's handing over the person should have to be like, this person's under arrest for this and this and this because da 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 da, and that's why you're taking them to jail. I feel like that would be a much better process because again, when people don't know things or the cop can't answer their questions, it's often when people like escalate and they get more irate because they don't have information and that just leads to anxiety and paranoia and stuff. So I feel like any cop that is transporting someone or is involved in processing them like this, you should know why they're being arrested at the very least. You might not have all the details because you weren't there, but you should at least know that. Okay, let's see. Is this all just intake? Because if it is, like, we don't need to see any of this.
After filling out all the necessary paperwork, the police placed the woman in a holding cell as they prepared to investigate the case further.
Wow, way to stretch out the footage. This video is like 25 minutes long. It probably should be about like 18 minutes long. But yeah, it looks like there's nothing. There's nothing.
Where the woman was charged with violating traffic laws.
Okay.
Her actions, such as driving recklessly, speeding, ignoring police instructions, and refusing to provide ID, were all used as evidence in the case.
I'm sure.
The court proceedings aimed to hold her responsible for the danger she caused on the road and her failure to follow legal procedures during the investigation.
Wow, this is the most amped up video ever. How ridiculous. Okay, we're going to start with the title of this video, which is pathetic, even for internet standards. Okay, most angriest, no BS cop. Let's break that down. Most angriest, oh yes, he's getting a D. He's getting an absolute D for being a D. Because he was just way too angry, way too aggressive. And in the end, all this woman is charged with is violating traffic laws. They said they found drugs in the car. Did you or didn't you? Or do you mean you found like, half a milligram speck of weed under the seat and you're counting that as drugs? Because I didn't see any drug charges. So, I'm thinking there was probably not that much in the car, if anything. She didn't seem to have warrants, didn't say anything about that. She made an improper turn and I saw a cop flip his lid over it. It was ridiculous, the level of freaking aggression here. And it has to be because the car had warrants on it, because the guy who owns the car has warrants. That's got to be why. That's got to be why such a heavy response and so many cops, and why the cop was freaking out from the beginning, because he said he didn't, you didn't know how to pull her over, he didn't know what to do. Like, what do you mean you didn't know what to do? It's your job. Like, God, somebody train this guy, please. So, most angriest cop, yeah, he wins that award. No BS? No, I think he was all BS. I think 99% of this video is nothing but BS. Did she fail to ID? Yes, true. Is there probably a larger reason for that? Maybe, but we certainly didn't see it here. I didn't see any charges against her for anything like that. So, like, come on. This was just way, way, way blown out of proportion. Way, way, way blown out of proportion. And as for the entitled Karen, internet buzzwords, not at all true. Playing stupid games, yes. When she wouldn't give her ID at first and she's hiding the ID, yes, that's stupid games, absolutely. Ends brutally, no. There was no brutality of any kind here. She was completely, other than the not IDing, she was completely cooperative the whole time. There actually wasn't any force used, so I don't know where they're getting over half the words in this title. It's absurd, and the way the narrator is trying to dramatize everything. Like, come on. There's plenty of videos where stuff actually happens to make hay out of. You don't have to make it up and just completely draw out what isn't even there. So yeah, I think I'm probably unsubscribing to this channel, but that's me. What did you think? Do you agree, disagree? Do you know of a longer version of this that makes more sense than what we saw? Because if there is, I'd like to see it. But other than that, if you are new here, please like, comment, and subscribe. Please leave me all your thoughts in the comments. Do you think I am right, wrong, out to lunch? Do you think this cop is right, wrong? What more do you think might have been going on here that we didn't see that justifies any of this? Yeah, it's a lot to consider. A lot we didn't see, but we're just told. So not my favorite kind of video. But there you have it. That's how it goes sometimes. Like, comment, and subscribe. And I have been Insane Lane as well as a Canadian girl, and I will see you on the next one. Bye bye.